This keyboard practically leaves almost nothing to be desired. It offers more than you might actually need. Meet the Cougar 700K EVO, but is it the right choice for you? In today's review, I'll be looking at the version with the red switches. The MSRP should apparently be somewhere around the $120 mark, but when actually searching for this keyboard online, we see prices ranging from $140 to $160, the latter being a bit steep. So is the 700K EVO worth all that money or not? Included besides the keyboard itself is some paper documentation, which also includes stickers whoever might find use for those. Obviously, we're dealing with a full-size keyboard layout here, meaning it comes with the numpad. But on top of that, we're also getting 5 additional dedicated keys that can be programmed using software. As far as I am concerned, always a must with keyboards, a decent wrist rest, preferably a padded one. And that's exactly what we are getting today. The surface area is actually bigger than what most competitors are offering out there, but in turn the wrist rest isn't magnetically attachable, which can be both a plus and a downside. The downside being that the wrist rest can't be taken off instantly and conveniently. The plus to this being, even if you move your keyboard around, the wrist rest sticks to the keyboard. Of course, we aren't talking of a compact size here when looking at a length of 487mm. Today's model comes equipped with Cherry Max RGB red switches, but alternatively you could pick up the 700K EVO even with brown, blue, black or even speed silver. The overall build quality seems to be good. We're dealing with a mix of plastic and aluminum, as the top plate aluminum and the frame being plastic. I certainly would have found an all-aluminum construction more appealing. In terms of aesthetics, as far as my personal taste is concerned, I can't complain, but I wouldn't count the 700K EVO to my favorites look-wise. The RGB lighting is done right, and needless to say is fully customizable within the software. The rubber feet on the keyboard's bottom stick to the desk nicely, preventing any annoying movement, even with those stands that are also rubberized. Now the 700K EVO comes with rather simple, sleek and maybe a little outdated non-removable cables, but does sport some fine sleeving. Since we're not only getting a USB, but headphone and microphone pass-throughs, the cable bundle therefore comes with those required connectors respectively. Those of you, however, that have no wish to use any pass-through are free to simply not connect any of those additional cables to your PC. In total, there are 3 profiles at our disposal that you can switch between directly and on the fly by making use of the dedicated M1, 2 and 3 keys. To the left of the keyboard, we have 5 G keys to which you could assign all kinds of functions and macros. At the top left, you could directly record macros on the keyboard with that MR key, for instance. Further to the right, we then see 4 LED indicators named 1x, 2x, 4x, and 8x. These indicate the polling rate we are operating at. By holding down the FN key with the upper F1 through 4 keys, you could easily and on the fly switch between 125 and all the way up to 1000 Hz. Now when moving even further to the right, we are given the option to switch between different backlight modes. Right beside it, our common win-lock key. All the way to the right, we spot a dedicated N key rollover, as well as 3 multimedia keys. The typing feel is very pleasant, but the Cherry Max RGB switches of the red kind are to be thanked for that. These, besides the speed silver switches, count to my ultimate favorites out there. The overall comfort is great actually, thanks to the good quality padded wrist rest. But especially for gaming, I find the wrist rest to be a little too short on the left. If you're hammering those WASD keys quite intensely, you might slip off the wrist rest. But maybe I'm just complaining for the sake of complaining, who knows? Anyway, that's how typing sounds like with the 700K EVO with red switches. Needless to say, as mentioned before already, the keyboard does come with software that can be downloaded. By making use of it, you could easily not just assign those G keys, but even remaining keys on the keyboard functions, macros, and the like. It's all programmable. Even in the aspect lighting, there's plenty of customization options at our disposal. Furthermore, we see the option of adding 3 user-defined lighting modes per profile that even can be exported and imported for that matter. These are some little things not all high-end keyboards out there usually offer. Hats off to Cougar for that. So the bottom line is that the Cougar 700K EVO sure can be considered as one excellent mechanical keyboard. While I sure wished to see less plastic for the frame and instead more aluminum and possibly a slightly longer wrist rest, other than that, there's nothing else I found I could criticize the 700K EVO for. The comfort is otherwise top-notch, and the great customization options are praiseworthy. At the end of the day, we just have to ask ourselves whether or not we actually need all these additional features. Maybe a more minimalistic approach, feature-wise, would serve us just as well, because all these features offered here today come at a price. $140 actually is what I'd consider fair, but $160 maybe is on the limit. On the other hand, one usually purchases a keyboard for many years to come, since keyboards usually last for a very long time. Maybe a reason to might as well spend a little more? That's a decision you have to make on your very own at the end of the day. All I can say is that the Cougar 700K EVO, from a technical standpoint, sure is worth recommending. With that being said, thank you so much for watching, and until the next one.